Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Football Manager 2018 with Zebu Nation. This is Loser to Legend with CLYDE FC, and today we have for you the pre-season spectacular for Season 7 in Ladbrokes League 1. Yet again, we're still in League 1, but that's, it is what it is. What are you going to do? Anyway, if you missed last season, we'll do a quick recap. Here is the 2022-2023 season. You can see here we finished in 6th place, which is a definite improvement from our first season in League 1. After 36 games, we had 12 wins, 12 draws, 12 losses. So pretty average season there. Total of 48 points. 2 points shy of our goal of 50 points. -1 goal differential, not necessarily what we wanted. But we did score a lot of goals, 60 goals. 59 goals, which is pretty good. It was good for 4th in the league. We let in 60 goals, though, which was good for 3rd last in the league. So we got to shore up the old defense a little bit and goalkeeping and whatnot. So we had some issues on that end of the field. Now, the other thing that happened was we had sort of a disastrous mid-season collapse. We thought it could actually maybe make the playoffs this season, but then I went out, bought a bunch of players to bring them in and sort of improve the overall quality of the squad, and it had the absolute opposite effect. Sent us into the toilet, and we finished 6th instead of maybe finishing 4th or 5th. Anyway, this is a new season. Speaking of new seasons, for next season, Stenhousemuir. I got corrected in the comments. It's Stenhousemuir. And I don't know when or why I started pronouncing it Stonehousemuir, but it just, in my mind, this is spelled S-T-O-N-E. There's an O right there. You can't see it, but in my mind, it's right there. And so this is Stonehousemuir. I don't know why. It's just, that's stuck in my brain. Stenhousemuir. They got promoted to the championship, won the league with 71 points. And Airdrie down at the bottom, we beat them several times last year. We're going to be sad to see them go. They got relegated back to League 2. As for the other guys, championship playoff final, Ayr beat Peterhead to stay up in the championship. So they almost got relegated, but they won the little playoff and got to stay up. Meanwhile, in the relegation playoff, Forfar beat Edinburgh City and likewise got to stay up in League 1. So we're going to see Forfar again, and we're going to see Peterhead again. So look out. Those guys are going to be back and ready to go. All right. So let's run down the checklist real quick for this season and see what's going on. So under 21s. We had our youth intake. Think we showed that. No, maybe we didn't. Maybe we didn't show that. I don't know. Maybe we did. Anyway, we've only got 3 really good prospects, or 3 decent prospects anyway. Ronan McCullough, attacking center mid, 2.5, maybe 3.5 star prospect. Nice mentals, not much physicals. He could use some work on his technicals, but he does have 13 technique, so he's got something to hang his hat on there. Kevin Campbell, left or right back. He's right-footed only, so he's probably just going to be a right back. He is likewise 2.5 star potential guy. Slightly better physicals. Fitness, balance, acceleration is decent. Mentals, still pretty good. Teamwork, work rate, determination is okay. His technicals are nowhere near as good, so he's got a ton of work to do. And, we'll see how that goes. And then our number 1 prospect, Stefan Milne, central defender. Decent physicals, very good mentals, not so good technicals. So he's got to work on all that stuff. 6 foot tall, he's pretty good. Central defender prospect, 3.5 star, maybe even 4.5 star potential. So not a lot going on in the under 20s right now. Finances, same as it ever was, minus £515,000. Our payroll is still pretty much as it was last year, $681,000. We're only spending $448,000 of it, so we've cut the budget a little bit this season. We still got $64,000 transfer budget, so lots of money to spend. Should we need or want or have the opportunity to spend it, it's all there. Speaking of money and spending, we got the board. Confidence is secure currently, 57%. And the one thing they love about us are the club finances, 100%. They love the fact that we're spending all that money. No problem there. They like the leadership. They're not so hot on our tactics right now. Everything else is going to be sort of 50%, I guess. They're still, yeah, everything else is pretty much 50%. So anything else going on with the board? You know, I kind of wanted to ask the board again to improve youth recruitment. We should improve our youth recruitment. We need to stay competitive in the local market. There's a lot of people here. We believe the club's youth recruitment is already good enough. Let's see. I'd argue that we can never be satisfied with it. I believe our existing setup is more than adequate right now. Nori Innes, this guy is not quite as ambitious as I thought he was at the beginning. I don't want to call him out, though, on that. I'll just say I can't stress enough how important this is. Nori says, you can ask as much as you like. It's not going to change anything. Maybe I should call him out on his lack of ambition. We'll give that a shot. Your lack of ambition is disappointing. We reject that notion. Every decision we take is in the club's best interest. All right. I gave it a shot. Let's try again. Let's try something else. Let's try increase. Can we increase the youth coaches? Increase coach salaries, physio, scouts, assistant coach? No. 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 Oh, there we go. Increase junior coaching budget. We should increase the junior coaching budget to produce the best players we can. We should increase the coaching budget to provide better individual training. There we go. Not currently willing to due to the club's finances. Okay, so we tried. We gave it a shot. The board is not interested. So we'll move on to the club and see how the club is going. Take a look at our facilities. Adequate training facilities, below average youth facilities. It's no good. Junior coaching, average junior coaching. I guess that is actually okay. Fairly basic youth recruitment. We really need that improved, and it just ain't happening until we figure out the budget and the finances. Stuff ain't going on. General, Cudahy, Peters, and King are all favored personnel. Miller is an icon of the club still, so we've kept him around. Everything else is pretty much the same. 1.5-star reputation. Team is fairly ambitious, so that's good. You might notice a little bit of change up here. Captain is now Aaron Davies, the central defender, and vice captain is Kenny Leach, the young player from our own academy, the left winger, has moved up the depth chart into vice captaincy. So that's an interesting change. Speaking of changes, transfers. Let's take a look at the transfers. Blair Muirhead. Air came sniffing around for Blair Muirhead, which is pretty shocking. They're a championship level club, and Muirhead is one of our 18-year-olds, but he's okay. He's not that good. So they tried to get him basically for nothing, so we signed him to a new contract and kept him around. So that was weird, but interesting. Transfer history. Before we look at these boys, let's look at the released players. We let go of some familiar names this offseason. Robbie Hogg, Lewis Wilson, Matthew Henvey. 3 players who never really cracked the starting rotation, but they were interesting subs to have on the bench. Robbie Hogg had a nice season last year. Lewis and Wilson hardly played at all. I don't think they even got a single first game. But anyway, sad to see him go, but their time was over. Scott Gibson, a guy who played a lot for us at left fullback, but I just felt like he had reached his level and he wasn't getting any better. and he didn't really perform that well for us in the last 2 seasons. I mean, he played 18 games last year, 1 goal, 1 assist, 1 player of the match, 6.68. This year he dropped to a 6.60 rating. So I figured it was just time to sort of get rid of Scott Gibson and find some other options at left fullback. Same with Mark Morrison. The board and the fans really didn't like letting this guy go. He's very highly rated. He's got very nice technicals, nice mentals, but his physicals just held him back. I mean, 7 pace, 6 jumping reach, 10 strength, 9 acceleration. As good as he was technically, he just couldn't keep up physically. He would get beat on the back line either through speed or through strength or through height. He would just get beat in all 3 phases of being a central defender. Unless the ball was on the ground at his feet and he could make a tackle, he was good at that. He was good at marking. But his physicals just could not keep up to this level, so we had to let him go. Daknovich, let him go. Our first ever prize academy player. 24 years old now, and he also suffered physically. 5 strength, 4 jumping reach, 5 balance, only 9 pace. For a winger's not good. He had skills as well. He had technique, passing, and first touch, and I thought that would carry him through, but it just didn't work. He got outpaced by Leach, who's only 18 years old, so we just let him go on a free. He's still out there, so we could go get him if needed, but probably not. Mitchell Foy was a player we picked up last season, just sort of a panic buy, if you will. And we didn't need him this season, so we let him go. And then Danny Scott was another recruit, another academy player who just never really went anywhere with his training. Anyway, get out of here. Those guys are all done. Transfers. Let's take a look. Okay, so we had some more exits. Prudhoe, bought by Hearts, the central midfielder. I'm not sure he's this good, but if Hearts wants him, he must be pretty good. Jordan Stewart, another one of our fullbacks, let him go to Spartans. He's another guy who played quite a bit for us, but just, I felt we needed just an improvement at the fullback position, and we started by letting him go. Same with Jack Breslin. He was a nice defensive option for us, but he wanted a little bit too much money this season, and for what he gave us, I mean, decent physicals, pretty good mentals, and okay technicals. He's getting better, 11 tackling, 10 marking. But just thought he'd reached his level, let him go. And Ryan Potter, one of our top prospects, probably our very top prospect. We didn't sell him, we let him go on loan, just because we weren't going to use him all that much this season, and I want to see if he can improve by getting regular first team play with Bucky Thistle. We'll check back with him at mid-season and see if he's improving at all. And if he is, we'll keep him out there. If he's not, we'll bring him back. Simple as that. All right, now the big-time stuff. What did we do? What did we go out and acquire? Well, first of all, we acquired Jordan Sinclair. Bring a little bit more toughness to our central midfield. He's a guy who can play the Carolero, but he can also drop back and play defensive midfielder. He can play a lot of different positions in the midfield. Very nice tackling, nice work rate, stamina and fitness, so he can run all day and be a tackling machine for us. That's what I'm hoping he's going to do. Then we picked up more defense. Joe Gorman, 28-year-old, another Irishman. We actually paid some money for this guy, $3,500 to Dumbarton. Look at the physicals on this dude. This is crazy. 6'2", 13 strength, 15 stamina, 15 fitness, 15 jumping reach. Those are outstanding stats for this level. So, just physically, he's a very dominating presence. Mentally, he's okay. Technically, he's okay. He needs a lot of work on his marking. So, he's got some deficiencies in his game for sure. But the other thing this guy can do is he can also slide out and play left fullback. So if we ever feel like we're getting overpowered this year at the fullback position, we can slide this guy out there, and he can be a real physical presence for us at fullback or at central defense, wherever we need him. I think just getting our team a little bit more physical, a little more bigger and stronger and faster just seems like a good idea. Craig Potts, Ross County. We got this guy on loan on striker, of course. Strikers, you know how I love strikers. And this guy is pretty good. Very good mentals. Pretty good physicals. 15 finishing, 11 first touch. He's a goal scorer. This is what we need. We're going to throw him out there. See if he can score goals. He's a left footer, so that brings a little bit of different dimension to him, especially if we play him with 2 striker formation. We got a natural left footer, so that's good. Ian Smith, another loan player from our affiliate, St. Mirren. He's a left defender, so we got rid of a lot of left fullbacks. He's a guy who's going to come right in, probably be a starter for us. Ian Smith, pretty nice physicals, especially strength and stamina. Other than that, he's pretty average. Mentals, though, very good mental abilities. Teamwork, work rate, determinations, decisions, bravery, aggression. So he's a smart kid. Technically, he's a little bit behind, so we need to work on his technicals. Marking, tackling, long throws, long shots, all that stuff needs to improve, but, you know, he's got some other attributes that should be helpful. Then we picked up a couple of more free transfers. David Wilson, 22-year-old goalkeeper. We got a competent backup goalkeeper now, so this is good. Something we haven't had for a couple of seasons. Good aerial reach, good reflexes, good fitness, bravery. You know, he's not a starter for us. He's not going to really challenge for that starting position, but if we need him, he's a competent and capable backup. And then finally, a name you might remember, Jordan Critchley from a couple of seasons ago. We had him on loan, and he's another very talented striker. You know my philosophy. You can't have enough strikers. He's got 14 dribbling, finishing, first touch, heading. So he's got nice technicals, especially when it comes to scoring the ball. Composure, concentration, very good. Physical's pretty good. Pace, acceleration, fitness, that's what he needs. That's what he's got. 22 years old. Last season, he played for Falkirk for the last 4 seasons. And he hasn't done particularly well for Falkirk. But when we had him back in the 2018-2019 season, he played 24 games, had 13 goals for us. So if he can just do that for us, I don't care what else he does. If he can just score 13 goals for us off the bench, great pickup in my opinion. So there we go. A lot of interesting moves, and that has brought us to our lineup today. It's a bit of an interesting lineup. We got, we still have to talk about the preseason, but I want to talk about the lineup for a minute, because this year we're so deep. We got so many good players because of all the players we picked up last season and the new players we got this season. You look at our roster. It's a pretty big roster. It's a pretty deep roster. We don't have to be patient with anybody. If somebody isn't performing, we're going to get them out of there. If somebody is performing, we're going to keep them in. That's our philosophy for this season. Doesn't matter if you're 2 stars or 10 stars. If you're not performing, you're out. If you are performing, you're in. That's how we're going to do it. So that's what I'm going to use this preseason for, is to just find out who's playing the best and get them ready for the regular season. So this is the first lineup we're going with, and that's because of our competition right now. We can show the schedule a little bit. We'll break this up with some highlights, I guess. We beat the Cumbernauld Colts. Well, we started out with a loss to Ayr, but I probably shouldn't have. Ayr? Is that how you pronounce it? Ayr? Anyway, shouldn't have played these guys first game of the season, but they were scheduled, so I had to schedule around them, I guess, because maybe we had a deal with them. I don't remember. But anyway, we lost to them 3-2 in the first game, and we were a little unprepared for that. But then we came back. We played really well. Cumbernauld 3-2, just getting match fitness with our backups. 4-1 over Irvine Meadow, 4-0 over East Stirlingshire. And then we played our affiliate club, St. Mirren, in sort of our big match of the season. And we played pretty well, and they played pretty poorly. You can see our ratings. Davies, 7.5 rating. Sinclair, 9.0 in the midfield. Very good. And Tony finally starting to play well for us. Our big signee from last season, 7.1 rating. And then King 7.0 and a goal. And we'll show the goal just to break up the highlights a little bit here. So, the fact that we were able to beat St. Mirren, I mean, they rotated a lot, and they weren't playing this game to win for sure. But the fact that we were able to hold them defensively to no points. Here's Gray, one of our new players. Antoniazzi gets it down. Sinclair to King, and that's just a great play from Sinclair, getting it to the striker who finished. Got to give him credit for finishing. So, I think we can play well. I think we can play better defense. Since those first 2 games, we've only allowed 2 goals in the last few. We played Hartlepool. It's a name you might know, Hartlepool, from the Venerama National League. And these guys, according to our scouts, were pretty good. They had lots of 4-star players. Pretty good, pretty deep roster. Look at all those players on their roster. It's kind of a huge roster. But we played them very well. Beat them 3-1 in a friendly. Played away at their stadium. Dallas had a wonderful game. Finlayson. So some names you definitely remember. Gray, our new left fullback, had a 7.9 rating. King, again, a 7.0 rating. Take a look at the highlights. So again, we're having a pretty decent preseason. And I've got a little bit of confidence going into this regular season. Hey, look at the CLYDE fans there in the background. There's Dallas, gets his first goal of the season off a nice little set play. So I've got some confidence going into this season, but it's going to come down to these cup competitions. Here's King getting out wide, crossing it, back post to Leach. Look at that. The new assistant captain scoring on the back post. That's pretty wild for him. His finishing is not good. But here's King again getting downfield, out wide to Dallas, across to Leach with his second goal. How about that? The young left winger. So these guys have played well in friendlies, but now it's time for the cup competitions. And we got a tough group. Here's Flanagan scoring one against the goalkeeper, but we got a tough group in these cup competitions. And I think it's going to be a good test for us to see where we're at and get ready for the regular season. So we got the BETFRED Cup. We are in Group G, and we've got a decently strong competition. Where did we go? Group G, down here at the bottom. So we got Motherwell. They are a premiership side, so we got to watch out for them. They're the toughest team in the group. Okay, is there a way to bring up our group? Yeah, maybe? No. Competitions? Yeah, okay, so here's our competitions. Motherwell, Morton. They are a championship squad, also pretty good. Look at that, lots of 4.5-star squad. So we got to watch out for them. And then, CLYDE, of course, a broth. They are a League 2 squad, so maybe they're the worst team in the league. Forfar, League 1. So it's a very nice, spread out type of, very balanced competition. 2 League 1 teams, League 2, Championship, Premiership. So we get a taste of every level in this competition. And so I'm going to use that to test my roster. I'm going to play everybody I can play. Sort of match the rosters up with the different teams. So I'm going to play my best roster against the best team, second best roster against the second best team, and so on, and so on, and so on. So that brings us to today's matchup. Tactical briefing. We're going to go with the 4-2-3-1. Hand that over to the assistant coach because we do have some pretty good attacking center mid. So that's why I'm going to use this formation a little bit more. We also have some pretty decent wingers. I want to see how they work out. And of course, we always have a lot of strikers. So if this formation doesn't work out, we definitely have the firepower to switch to a 2-striker formation. And we're going to do that if necessary. Maybe the old 4-4-2, I don't know. Maybe the attacking 4-2-4, which, I mean, that's definitely in our repertoire. We're definitely going to use that this season. But maybe we'll use it more. We just sent out a ton of youngsters for purchase, guys we want to get rid of. So we will do that. We're gonna get rid of Gavin Watson for 0. Lee McGregor, 0. Get out of here. Clyde Pettigrew, get out of. These are all 18-year-olds who just aren't gonna do anything for us in the under 20s. They're like, half-star guys. Get out of here. We don't need you. Don't need your mouths at the training table, basically. Just trying to cut costs where we can. Match preview, team selection. Well, let's go to the match preview quickly. Morton is 2-1 favorites. Too early to tell they're anybody's form, obviously. Morton's team selection overview. Let's take a look at these guys. Looks like they're playing their best roster, but even their backups, even their reserves are better than our starters. So it's a matter of either our scouts are really jealous of these guys, or we don't really quite know their quality. But that guy looks pretty good. Brad McKay. Very nice physicals, mentals, technicals. So we got a tough game ahead of us. We know these guys where it counts. We don't know much about this guy. We're just assuming he's a 4.5-star player because he's on loan from Rangers, I guess. But anyway, they could be better, they could be worse. But right now, they look pretty good. All right. No. Let's go to our team. Like I said, 4-2-4. I want to make sure we got all the right players in here in the reserves. King, Antoniazzi, Albuzetti, Sinclair, Smith, and Finlayson and Wilson. Okay, that's a good reserves. Let's go. So you notice a lot of our top players are in those reserves. That's because we consider this team to be the second best team, so we're playing our second best lineup. And that second best lineup is Parks in goal. Parks is going to play goal for all 3 times. We know he's the #1 goalkeeper. He's the only guy we have no question about. Gray at fullback and Lindsay at the right fullback, and Lindsay's taking the captaincy, which is interesting. Gorman making his debut, the big, strong Irishman. He's going to be teamed next to the steady one, Kessie. Mulgrew, another new player in central midfield. He's going to be teamed with Miller, the ball-winning midfielder. Russell, Dallas at the wingers. Lockheed and Peters, who have formed a very nice friendship, very nice partnership over the last I guess, half season, really. When Lockheed came in, maybe even 3/4 of a season, but whatever. Lockheed and Peters have, got a little bond there, and they play well together, so hopefully they can score some goals. Looks like they've got the old classic 4-4-2. Don't have anybody making their debuts. McKay, who we looked at, is their team captain. He's pretty good. Looks like their wingers are going forward, McLean and Hughes. Looks like their top man is Atchison. 9.6 ratings and 3 goals in his first game. So I'm assuming that they won their first game in Group G. It's probably 3-0. But anyway, we got to watch out for those guys. So let's go to the dressing room. Let's get out of here. Opposition instructions, of course. Yeah, we're going to tightly mark and close down on Atchison. Tightly mark his strike partner, close down on the wingers. How are their fullbacks looking? Their fullbacks look to stay back. Okay. So that's good. All right, boys. We're the underdogs. Let's cause the upset. Yeah, okay. Who's okay with that? Looks like Dallas. Good man. Nice crowd for the away game. Looks pretty good. Hopefully we get the Premiership team at home and we can get another revenue boost, because that was really helpful when Rangers came to town and filled up our stadium. Let's see what sort of highlights we got on here. Just the key highlights. We'll put that to extendo highlights, because we're only going to look at this first match. Then we're going to play the rest of the matches and come back for the last match. Ouch. There's Atchison. right in front of our central defense. He looked like he was marked, but apparently he's just too good. McInnes. Kelby. Yep. And that was just not great defending on the part of Gorman. Alright, here we go. Kelby gets it stolen by Miller, but O'Hara gets it. McLean. Back to O'Hara. He's crunched, but Atchison gets it. He's stopped. Is Gorman playing on the wrong side of the field? Gorman? No. He's supposed to be playing on the left. Looks to me like he's playing on the right, though. I don't... Kessie is not a redhead. We know this about Kessie. Back post, Parks. Yeah, Gorman is supposed to be on the left. He just somehow gets playing on the right, and I don't appreciate that. He's getting out of position. Here's Miller for our first highlight. Free kick. Drops it back. Russell intercepts it. I think that was going to Dallas. He takes a shot. Fulton with the stop, though. So we did get one shot on goal. How are we looking here? 3-2 in terms of shots in their favor. 3-2 on target. So everybody's hitting the target right now. 2-1 in fouls. They've got the possession on us right now. Here's Miller. Corner. Near side. Drops it back again. There's Russell to Dallas. He takes another shot. Not a particularly good shot. Let's not do that again. Good that we're getting the highlights. McInnes now. Near side for Morton. Drops it back. McKay's going to try to restart the offense. Naismith to Hughes. They're going to slow play it a little bit. Ball is deflected back to Gibson. Naismith, Hughes. They're passing it around. We might have to start closing down on all these guys, or they're just going to slow play us. Nice steal in the midfield. Peters gets it stolen back, though. Larry sends it forward to Glover. O'Hara has it. His shot just wide. Okie dokie. Those strikers are going to be a real problem for us. Hopefully we can keep them in check for the rest of the game. Kelby out wide to Hughes. Sends it back to O'Hara. Ouch. I don't know what's going on the back post. I think he's just a heck of a lot better than we are, because our guys look like they were mostly in position. Could be we're a little unfit at the moment match-wise, but he just beats Kessie to the back post, and Parks doesn't come out to grab that, so not a great start to the game. 2-0. How are we looking attribute-wise here? Ratings-wise, still pretty average ratings. It's pretty weird for being down 2-0 that our ratings are still pretty decent. Obviously, their attack is looking pretty good. McLean, Atchison, and O'Hare are all killing it. 7.2 ratings. So now they're going to probably slow it down for the rest of the half. We might as well attack and get forward, right? Might as well get forward. And we saw they're going to try to kind of slow play it in the midfield. So maybe we can put some pressure on them, win some balls, and counterattack. 38 minutes down. Now our ratings are starting to drop defensively. Kessie and Lindsay particularly. Attack not looking so good either. 6.4s all across the front line. Here's Parks with a goal kick. 42 minutes down, so just a few minutes left. Sends it forward. O'Hare gathers it in. He's tackled by Miller. Nice tackle, but we don't retain possession. Gorman gets it back to Parks, who bombs it. There's Russell getting it forward to Peters. See what we can do. Gets it. Bad pass by Peters. Back line. Atchison. His shot is wide. I'm just really glad he didn't cross that. I mean, the good news about Gorman is he's physically able to keep up with guys like that. He's not going to get pushed around. So that's the good news. I think he just needs to get a little bit more game time, a little bit more match fit right now. He's 28 years old, so he should be a solid veteran for us, but we'll see. McLean to O'Hare. Kelby couldn't get a foot on it. Couldn't direct it into the goal. So we're going to escape with the first half down 2-0. I mean, I would have liked to play better. But right now, I think I'm using the excuse that we are a little unfit in terms of match preparation. Hand over to the assistant. Get out of here. I don't think we need to make many more adjustments. I wish Peters and Lockhead were playing better. Russell out on the wing. Mulgrew gets it forward. There's Peters on the back line looking for some support. Gets tackled. Hughes, Naismith, no good. So ratings right now, this isn't a good look for the second unit. Lindsay playing poorly. Lockheed, Russell, Peters. Nobody's playing very well. I'd like to get those yellow cards out of there probably. And then maybe get Peters out of there and see if we can do another striker. Oh, Gibson gets the old talking to, and we get a free kick. Miller sends it to Peters. Peters heads it down to Lockheed. No good, but there's Gorman. There's the young central defender. Yellow card and all. He scores one in his debut. So there we go. He had a rough game defensively, but at least he scored a goal, sort of a knockaround goal. Miller sends one. Peters doesn't win the header, but just sort of pinballs around in there after Lockheed heads it down. And look at that. Gorman rockets up to a 7.5 with that goal. Lockheed playing better. Russell still not playing good at all. 6.4. Lindsay still terrible. I think I'm going to take him out early. Bring in Finlayson. And we can send Finlayson forward a little bit more. Put him on the support role. Give us, a little bit more of an outlet on the right-hand side. And then I guess we'll take out Mulgrew for Sinclair. Get that other yellow card out of there. What can Sinclair play? Sinclair can play a lot of different positions. He can play the central mid. He can play Mazzala, Carolero, box to box. I think we'll keep him in the center mid role just to not go crazy. He can even play defensively. So he could be our defensive sub coming off the bench. That might be a good idea. We got one more possibility here. Well, you know what? We got our left-hand side going inside forward. So let's let him play the Mazzala, get out wide. And then bring in Dakota King for Russell. Put him on the attack. So now we got two strikers in there. We'll see if we can get one of these goals back. That is our third substitute, though, so made 3 early subs. Maybe we shouldn't have done that. But at this point, what do we got to lose? 2-1. We still got, time for a comeback. If we could scratch a point out of this, that would go a long way. Looks like Morton's going to try to slow play it to get out of here. Here's Gray. Throw in near side to King. Back to Gray. Is he going to bomb it downfield? He does. Is anybody there? Not particularly. McKay gathers it in for Morton. They're going to reset their attack. McLean has it at midfield. He sends it forward for O'Hara. He beats Kessie. He's got a man wide open, but he does not pass it to him. So thankfully, O'Hara is a little selfish because he had an easy goal if he tapped it across to his partner. Parks bombs it forward for Dallas. Can't win the header, but Lockheed gets it. Peters not playing well at all. Gibson, McLean sends it forward. Atchison, he looked offside, but no, apparently not. Nice stop by Parks. Gorman saves it for some reason. King's going to gather it in. The highlight continues. He gets by one tackle, drops it back to Sinclair, to Lockheed. He gets the ball stolen. I wish he would have passed that over to Miller. O'Hara beats Kessie. Back to Kelby for the easy goal. See, that was a much less selfish play, and they get the goal out of it. So our defense just can't stand up to championship level. I think that's pretty clear. At least these two guys, whether it's match fitness or what, it's just, they're getting torn apart. I thought we strengthened the defense a little bit this offseason, but perhaps not. Here's Miller with a free kick. Can he get one back? No. Yeah, thinking of taking Miller off free kicks, even though his rating is very high. I mentioned before, I can't remember him ever getting a goal on the free kick, and last year Leach got a goal. So maybe we should make Leach, who's now our assistant captain, make him the free kick taker, even though he's not in the game right now. Anyway, look at the league table. Morton would be in first place with 2 wins, +5 goal differential. Motherwell, only 1 win. Abroth, 1 win. How do they have 1 win and a -2 goal differential? They must be losing right now by 3 goals or something. Anyway, Clyde, this is our first game, and we're down 2 goals. Oy vey, 75 minutes, let's go. Hughes to Gibson. Here's Morton on the attack, trying to get some more goals, trying to get that goal differential. O'Hara, he shoots it wide. Not much else we can do. We can't get stuck in with all these yellow cards we got. Gray playing bad. Kessie playing bad. Gorman still keeping his... He's actually improved his rating to 7.6. So that's a good sign. He could take over Kessie's role as the 3rd central defender off the bench. And that could be our defensive improvement for the season. You don't necessarily need 4 central defenders, but 4 is nice to have. Here's Miller. Again, sends it wide. So the roster, I think, is a little too large, but it's not that expensive. And here's Miller. Sends one in. Kessie with the header. Oh, just tipped aside. Laramie gets there. Just knocks it away. Our central defender might have had his 2nd goal. Atchison now on the move. Boyd going up against our new left fullback. See what he can do. He can't put much pressure on him. Finlayson just heads the ball out, unfortunately. So they're going to get a corner out of it. Here we go. Far side. Gibson's going to send it in. We're doing the reverse angle here. Dallas, though, heads it out. So that's not too scary. And there ends the highlight. 83 minutes down. It's not looking like it's in the cards for us today, but maybe we can get another one back. Get that goal differential down a little bit. Lockheed tries a tricky back pass, but it doesn't work. McLean gets it forward. Kessie again caught napping. Nice defense. Nice turnaround, though. He came back. And then, I thought Gray was going to own goal that, but no. He knocked it out. So Kessie gets beat again, but then he recovers. So that was nice. Hughes, near side, throw in. 86 minutes down. Lots of highlights at the end of the half here. McLean just chunks one. They're looking pretty tired in the midfield, but we're not able to take advantage of it, unfortunately. 89 minutes, getting close to stoppage time here. They've got 18 shots on goal, 7 on target. We've got 5 yellow cards on this game, even though we got the same number of fouls. That seems unfair. Here's Miller again. 4 minutes of stoppage time. No. Should take Miller off direct free kicks, I think, is what I should do. That seems reasonable, since he can't even get the shots on goal. Maybe he's just more of an indirect free kick taker. Sinclair to Lockheed. Gets it up to King. Can King make a play? Gets it to Peters. Back to Lockheed. Sinclair. Forward to nobody. Naismith gathers it in. Gorman on the back line again, though. Gotta hand it to Gorman. He played well. You know, he had a shaky first, 10 minutes, but after that, he settled down a bit. Kessie, though, not playing well. He's going to have a sub-6 rating at this point. I don't want to see this highlight again, but I'm gonna. Boyd, I mean, this was just sort of a prayer of a shot, and Parks wasn't particularly ready for it. Atchison beats Kessie to the ball. What's Kessie's rating now? 6.2. We'll see what it is at the end of the game. Miller, indirect free kick. Finlayson almost got a goal there. That would have been a nice comeback, but they get the 4-1. Would have looked better at 4-2. Yeah, Kessie finishes with a 6.2 rating, still tied for the worst rating on the team with Dallas. Lindsay also 6.2. So we got a lot of work to do here with this squad. I mean, obviously this was a championship team, so they're at a higher level. Morton is a pretty good squad. Can't fault you for your effort, I guess. Oops, they didn't like that. They really hated that team talk. I guess we should have faulted them for their effort, because that was a pretty bad effort, honestly. But yeah, so we're going to come back. We're going to come back for the Abroth game. Show you the... Well, no, we're not going to come back for the Abroth game, are we? No, that's not how this works. We're going to play out the Betfred Cup. If we make it to the next round, then that'll be joyful, and we'll show you that. But probably not going to happen. So we're going to come back for our first game of the season versus Sterling. And we're going to show you the preseason predictions and all that stuff. That's how this works. And that'll be our first game of the season. All right. So until then, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.
There's a team they call the CLYDE, who will fill your heart with pride. Dressed up in the red and black, we an L sign on the back. They've a winger and a keeper and a great big carpet sweeper. It's